Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. On Sunday, we received news of another prominent and beloved Christian leader that had gone to be with the Lord. Jack Hayford was the pastor for many years of the Church on the Way in Van Nuys, California. 35 years ago, I came across a little paperback book called The Church on the Way. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I initially began reading it was because it was about a megachurch. It was about this church in California that had over 1,000 members. Now today, for a church to have 1,000 members, they're two a penny. I mean, there's churches everywhere that size. But back then, it was a bit more unusual. And so I remember just saying, I want to find out more. And I mean, it was a big church. I mean, the church grew at one point. It had over 10,000 members. But that was not really what Jack Hayford was about. Even though he was the pastor of a megachurch, that was not what defined him. He was a man of humility, a man of integrity, and a man who was able to share many great life-changing revelations from the Lord. He was also a worshipper. He wrote over 600 songs and choruses, including that worship chorus, Majesty, Worship His Majesty. He was part of the Foursquare Pentecostal church denomination and at one time served as their international president. He was also involved in a project that's very close to my own heart that I'm involved in called Empowered 21, which is a movement to bring together Pentecostal and charismatic and spirit-filled leaders from different streams and denominations across the world. And Pastor Jack, like myself, served on the Global Council of Empowered 21. Christianity Today called him the gold standard for Pentecostals. Why? Well, it pains me to say this as a Pentecostal preacher myself, but sometimes Pentecostal megachurch preachers have ended up in scandals and brought disrepute to the name of Christ. Sometimes people don't have much of an ability to basically have that burden of celebrity or fame or whatever it is. But with Jack Hayford, there was never that whiff of scandal about him, and so Christianity Today called him the gold standard for Pentecostals. A couple of his quotes that really just sum up the kind of person he was. One is on worship, and Jack once wrote this. He said, "Worship changes the worshipper into the image of the one who is worshipped." Just think about that. Worship changes the worshipper into the image of the one who is worshipped. It's a beautiful quote about what worship achieves in our lives. And another great one was referring to difficulties that he had faced in his own life. He once wrote this: "Breakthrough happened around me when breakup happened within me." And I know that's not a popular message that, we like to preach and hear messages about sailing through life in constant victory. But sometimes that experience of being broken by some of the hard things that happen in our life can actually bring us to the point of being people who can then see breakthrough happening around us. Breakthrough happened around me when breakup happened within me. A number of years ago, I was in Los Angeles. My wife and daughter, I think they were off at Universal Studios or Warner Brothers, or one of those places anyway. And I remember driving in the car with a friend and just driving by and looking up on the map and finding the Church on the Way in Van Nuys, a suburb of Los Angeles. And I remember getting out and praying outside that church. It wasn't a flashy church, it wasn't designed to impress. It was designed to be a place of worship for the people that attended there. And I just remember standing outside that church building and praying, "Lord, I pray that you will enable me to live with a similar integrity and honesty as displayed by Jack Hayford." I wasn't looking to have the thousands of people in the church. That wasn't what this was about, but it was about his integrity and his character. And he lived that out to his dying day, and I pray that the rest of us will be inspired to do likewise through his example. May God bless you today in Jesus' name, and join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.